today we're going to talk about transversals, so let's go ahead and get started. So a line that intersects two or more lines is a transversal. So look at this picture here. See how there's two lines in black? There's this line that goes through those two black lines. So the line that goes through two or more lines is called a transversal, okay? And when that happens, we have an angle here, 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 and an angle here. That was probably really annoying sounding, but you get my drift, right? Like lots of angles are formed there. So let's talk about what the interior would be and the exterior would be. So if we look at this transversal and we look at these two lines right here, okay, we want to talk about the interior first. And I'm going to use a highlighter here. If we are inside the two lines, we're in the interior, okay? And if we are outside the two lines, we're in the exterior. So if all of those guys are angles, here, 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 all of these, if these are all angles, notice that there are 4 angles on the interior and there are 4 angles on the exterior. So outside the two lines, inside the two lines. So I'm going to write that down. Inside the two lines. And for this one, outside the two lines. Now there could be more than 2 lines, okay, but for our purposes in class, we'll always look at just 2 lines, okay? There could be like 50 lines, but we'll pick the 2 lines we need and look at those, okay? So interior and exterior. So let's go on and talk about what are those special fancy angles that are formed. So first we have to figure out some vocabulary, all right? To alternate means to go from one to another. So in our case, we're going to talk about how angles will alternate around your transversal. Now what I've noticed over the years that students get really confused here because they don't look at their transversal. So here is the transversal. I have it highlighted in yellow. And then I'm going to take a different color here. I'll use this blue. And here are the 2 lines that the transversal goes through. Now let's remind ourselves what the interior and what the exterior is. All right, this is your interior, and then outside here is the exterior, okay? Interior, exterior. You have to know where those are. So we need to talk about alternating. Okay, so let's look at angle number 1. So angle 1 right here is on the exterior. So look on the exterior, but go on the other side of the yellow line. So if we're on the other side of the yellow line, we're over here. And we want to be outside of it in the exterior. So this would be an alternate exterior angle. So angle 1 and angle 8 are alternate exterior angles. Well, let's keep going with that. 2 is on the outside, and then if I go to the other side of the transversal, if I alternate over, 2 and 7. 2 and 7, oop, I should put my angle mark there, are alternate exterior angles. Well, let's go inside. Let's go into the interior. 3 is inside and then alternating onto the other side, but staying inside the 2 blue lines is 6. So angle 3 and angle 6. And then the last one that we haven't taken care of is 4 and 5, alternating interior, angle 4 and angle 5. Now what I've noticed over the years that students usually miss these problems because they don't want to take the 5 seconds to think, is it inside or outside, and is it alternating or not? So you're going to have to ask yourself those 2 questions. So speaking of, let's go to this next section here. So there's also same side interior and same side exterior angles. So first, let's go ahead, remember this is our exterior, this is our exterior, and this is our interior, okay? Our transversal is running down the center. So I want stuff on the same side. I want angles on the same side. So here's 1, same side, exterior. So on the same side and on the exterior would be 1 and 7. So angle 1 and angle 7, same side, exterior. And then 2 would be same side, exterior with 8. So angle 2 and angle 8. Then we go and we talk about same side interior. So angle 3 and angle 5. And then if we want to stay on the same side, but stay in the interior, 4 and 6. So again, what I said is I notice students don't want to ask themselves, am I on the same side or am I alternating? Am I in the interior or am I on the exterior? If you ask yourself those questions, it's going to help a whole lot. The last kind of angle is a corresponding angle that we're going to talk about here. So it means having the same characteristics as something else. That's what the word corresponding means. So what does that mean to us? Well, it means that the angles have to be in the same position, like your upper left, or your lower left, or your upper right, or your lower right. Okay, so looking at this picture, this one's a little tough for people. Like, look at this and look at this. Okay, we have an upper left, a lower left, and an upper right, a lower right, correct? So let's talk about one. It's in the upper left. 5 is in the upper left. So angle 1 and angle 5 are corresponding. So let's keep going. 2 is in the upper right, and so is 6. So angle 2 and angle 6 are corresponding. Then we've got 3 in the lower left and 7 in the lower left. So angle 3 and angle 7 are corresponding. And then we have angle 4 and angle 8 in the lower right. So angle 4 and angle 8 are corresponding. Now, I cannot stress this enough. If I'm moving too fast or if you're feeling confused, you should really, really rewatch this video. And if you just wrote everything down this first time through, like seriously go back and rewatch everything without writing anything down. Like really let this sink in, all these different kind of angle names, okay? It's 5 different kinds of angles. And I know it can be overwhelming for some students, but it's really helpful to go back and rewatch, all right? We're gonna apply what we've learned over here. Describe the relationship between the angles. Okay, so we have this one and this one. So the first thing you want to ask yourself, here's the transversal, correct? Is it alternating around the transversal or is it on the same side as the transversal? It's alternating. Okay, the next thing you want to ask yourself is it on the interior of the two lines, or is it on the exterior of the two lines? And you'll notice that both of these are on the interior. So these are alternate interior angles. Let's do that again on this next one. Let me grab my blue. So we have 3 and we have 4 and we have our transversal. Are they alternating around it or are they on the same side? They're alternating around it. So the next question you ask yourself then, are these angles on the exterior or they're on the interior? Exterior or interior? And they're on the exterior. So they're alternating exterior angles. Now let's look at C. If you get confused about C, turn your head to the left. Do you see your transversal has been moved over like this? It's been twisted over. Because remember, transversal goes through 2 or more lines. Like you can't say this is a transversal because it goes through 1 line. And you can't say this is a transversal because it goes through only 1 line. But this must be the transversal because it goes through 2 lines. So now you have to ask yourself, are 5 and 6 on the same side as the transversal or alternating around the transversal? They're on the same side. And then you have to ask yourself, are they on the exterior of the transversal, of the 2 lines, I mean, my bad. Are they on the exterior of the 2 lines or are they on the interior of the 2 lines? And they're inside, so they're same side interior angles. Notice I'm asking myself those questions and you gotta do that in this section in order to get the angles right. So let's go to this next section here. Angle 2 and 7, 2 and 7. They're alternating around the transversal and they're outside the 2 lines. So alternate exterior. Let's look at 1 and 5. Are they alternating or on the same side? They're on the same side. Are they both inside or are they both outside? Neither. Do you see that they're not both inside and they're not both outside? Okay, when this happens, this is when you gotta look for corresponding. So look at this. Do you notice how 1 and 5 are both in the upper left? Both in the upper left. So this means that they are corresponding. So be really careful with that. Let's look at 4 and 8. Here's 4 and here's 8. Are they on the same side or are they alternating? They're on the same side. Are they both inside or are they both outside? Neither. If you look, they're both in the lower right. So again, this is the tricky one, the corresponding. Okay, so let's look at 3 and 5. Are they on the same side or are they alternating? They're on the same side. Are they both inside or are they both outside? They're on the inside, so they are same side interior. Let's talk about 4 and 5. Are they on the same side or are they alternating? They're alternating. Are they both inside or are they both outside? They're inside, so they're alternate interior angles. Now let's talk about 4 and 6. Same side or alternating? They're on the same side. Are they both inside or are they both outside? They're both inside, so same side interior. There we go. Here's what I want you to do. I'd like you to try this one on your own. So try this one on your own, bring this to class, and let's go over that when you come on in, okay? But I want you to try this. You use each letter once, and I want to also point out to you, here's your transversal. So if you need to tilt your head to the left to kind of figure out what's going on here, tilt your head to the left. Okay, I know that's tougher when they have the transversal going left and right. All right, so try this, bring it to class, and we'll discuss it then. Have a fantabulous evening or morning, I guess, depending on when you're watching this. Bye-bye.